Hello, I'm Nawrocki and you're watching TVP World Talks. With the first round of Poland's presidential elections taking place this Sunday, the contenders for the country's highest office faced off yesterday evening for the final debate before the nation heads to the polls. Taking a step back to appreciate the broader perspective, today we take a look at the basics of Poland's political debate, the who's who of Warsaw politics, the stakes in the upcoming vote, and the prospects for individual presidential hopefuls following the ultimate televised clash yesterday. Joining us here on TVP World is Piotr Kaczyński, lecturer at the University of Warsaw. Hello and welcome to TVP World. Glad that you could be here with us.
Good morning to you, and it's good to be back.
So let's begin with the actual debate. Are the voters any the wiser following yesterday's confrontation between 13 candidates and all?
Well, provided that they are not bored, because what was supposed to be very intriguing and interesting debate lasted for over 3 hours, and it was not really the most exciting of debates. We have had a few of those in the recent weeks, and the last one was kind of much more staged, and a lot of people are saying that it has been rather boring than anybody else. Has it convinced anyone to change their vote? Maybe a few persons, but will it have a major impact on the way Poles will vote in this upcoming election? Rather not.
So do you think that the more exciting time for debates would be before the second round, where this is actually a duel between the two most powerful candidates who have already passed the test of receiving the highest number of votes, and therefore you can have the actual exchange of opinions?
Absolutely. I mean, you can easily see that in a pool of 13 candidates, there are a number of candidates with a minimum support of less than 2%. And collectively, that can amount to even up to 10%. And it is interesting to see that some of those candidates that are not number one or two are polling, are either coming from, let's call it, wider nationalist camp or from a wider liberal democracy camp. And the two frontrunners are the ones representing those camps. So it will be interesting to see how post first round the two leading candidates are going to attract votes of the other candidates. Well, they will be chasing the 50% trademark that is not easy to grasp for anyone in Polish elections.
So now, for the benefit of our international viewers, let's introduce the main contenders here. Which candidates are the most likely to actually have a major impact on these elections and to proceed to the second round?
Absolutely. There's a number of people that are worth mentioning because they either have a very important role in these elections or they will have a very important role in the future. Number one, of course, the standout of the elections is the frontrunner in the opinion polls, that is Trzaskowski, the current mayor of Warsaw, who is according to many opinion polls, a very strong frontrunner. The problem for Mr. Trzaskowski is that he is the candidate of the ruling party, and whoever is dissatisfied with the current government obviously may hold those against Mr. Trzaskowski as well, and that is something that might be a little bit tricky for him to get him over this 50% threshold. However, he is the leading person in the polls, and he is also the main candidate of this liberal democratic camp. Second in line, and somebody who is most likely to meet with Mr. Trzaskowski in the runoff is Mr. Nawrocki, who's the candidate of the conservative Law and Justice Party that has been ruling between 2015 and 2023, and a lot of people have really good memory of those, some people call it dark times. And Mr. Nawrocki is clearly presenting himself as a very, very conservative and nationalistic leader who is embracing the policies of likes of Donald Trump. Mr. Nawrocki, however, has a major problem in this campaign. Over the last couple of weeks, he has been faced with a major campaign, with a major problem actually in his campaign regarding his own historical past, and not going into details of it, this undermines his credibility among his primary vote. Because this undermines his credibility among the rural and poorer and older voters, which is the corner base of law and justice. But worth mentioning are also the other candidates, because number 3 in the opinion polls is Sławomir Mentzen, who's the libertarian/nationalistic candidate of a far-right party, Confederacy, and Mr. Mentzen probably will have a major say and major impact in how his supporters are going to vote, or what they will do in the second round. He's been attacking Mr. Trzaskowski for many weeks, and recent days and the recent catastrophe for Mr. Nawrocki meant that also Mr. Mentzen has came to the conclusion that Nawrocki has no room in Polish politics. So that is very difficult for Mr. Mentzen, should he come third, to indicate a clear support for any of the two in the run of 2 weeks after 18th of May, which is scheduled on the 1st of June.
So according to the polls, these are the big three, right?
Yeah.
The most likely contenders to proceed to the second round. So let's break it down. What do we know about their stance on foreign policy? Because this has been the focus of this channel, indeed, for ever since its inception. So what does Mr. Trzaskowski say about the priorities of Poland's foreign policy at this difficult time of changing alliances and looming threats?
Look, the focus of Mr. Trzaskowski and Mr. Nawrocki is completely opposite. Mr. Trzaskowski, even though he's been now a mayor of Warsaw for a couple of years, and from that perspective, he has dealt with the crises of the recent years, including the one of major intake of Ukrainian refugees into Poland after the war has broke out between Russia and Ukraine. Mind you that the destination in the first weeks of late February and March 2022 were Poland, and within Poland, the city number 1 destination that a lot of refugees were seeking was actually Warsaw. So the city has witnessed a major influx of refugees from one day to the next, and Mr. Trzaskowski was the mayor at the time, and he is mayor of Warsaw since. He's a staunch Europeanist. He is known to be a committed European. He has studied, he has written his PhD on European integration. He speaks multiple Western European languages, including Italian and French. Of course, English as well. So Trzaskowski has served also as member of European Parliament. So he has his share of international experience, and he is largely viewed as this liberal democracy internationalist, if you like.
What is his stance on Donald Trump and the alliance with the US? Because he said that his focus will be, of course, on the cooperation with our European allies, but this is also a time of rather difficult negotiations regarding both Ukraine and trade tariffs with America. Did he say anything about what he would do as president?
This is exactly the big question mark, because when it comes to the United States, that is more of a weaker part when there is Donald Trump in office. But we have to remember that this is a problematic issue for pretty much everybody on European soil, and it all comes down to personal relationships. There is none between Mr. Trump and Mr. Trzaskowski, as far as I know, but those relations are only to be established, and to see whether there is some kind of a good vibe between the two gentlemen.
So what about Mr. Nawrocki then? Because we are slowly coming to the end of this discussion. What did he have to say about Ukraine, about the alliance with the US? He presents himself as a staunch Atlanticist, and he also tried to give this vibe of having really good contacts with members of the current administration. Is this likely to influence voters in Poland too?
Absolutely. There was this videos and a photo op that Mr. Nawrocki had in the White House with Donald Trump. So there's a very clear signal that if you support Mr. Trump, you should support Mr. Nawrocki. This photo opportunity, this is where the strategies of Law and Justice were to try to indicate for Mr. Nawrocki that he has a big international portfolio. However, he does not. He has never had any major governmental roles. He has been selected to be candidate for representing also Law and Justice because he was not in the previous government, and he is very proud to say that he's not a member of the party. So we cannot say much about Mr. Nawrocki's big experience. However, it doesn't mean that he's not speaking about international issues. He is speaking against Ukrainian membership in the EU, and he's speaking against Ukrainian membership in NATO. So that is one of those issues that actually stood out yesterday.
What arguments did he give against the membership of the Ukraine in the EU? Because NATO, of course, is a broader issue. Many countries right now are skeptical, even though NATO promised Ukraine it would eventually be able to join. But what about the European Union?
Well, the main issue for Mr. Nawrocki is that he says that Ukrainians have to be more respectful towards Poland. He is coming from this historical background. He is now the president of the Institute of National Remembrance, and he is kind of, you can say, he's supposed to be top historian in the country. So there is important historical relationship between Poles and Ukrainians regarding the massacres, especially massacres in Volhynia in English, in late 1944 thereabout, and this is something very relevant for the historical relationship, but also clearing out those issues of the past is extremely valuable, extremely important for the two nations to move forward, and this is even more important for the nationalist part of the Polish political class.
And for the sake of clarity, because we have run out of time, we need to add that Mr. Mentzen is even more skeptical of Ukraine's membership in NATO and the European Union. The third candidate that we have been talking about.
Absolutely.
Piotr Kaczyński was our guest today.
Yes.
Very much so.
One line is, of course, to say that Mr. Mentzen is aggressively attacking Ukrainian minority and Ukrainian migrants who have refugees who have came to the country for rescue.
So more confrontational rhetoric there. Piotr Kaczyński, lecturer at the University of Warsaw, was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing your insight.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm Jan You're watching TVP World. Please stay with us for more latest news and updates.